Hi guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw. Today we're going to go over how to draw a lion. More so the head, really. We're going to draw the lion head. And mostly the male lion. So we'll kind of get into it. This one right here, I'm going to have this. This is something, this is a clouded leopard skull. And it's a replica, by the way. A replica of it. But the reason I have it is because you can really see the way, it is very similar to a lion. If you're thinking about like the teeth and things like that. So when you kind of look at a lion, understand a couple of things about it. One, these things the lion's kind of evolved to kill, to eat meat, that kind of thing. So, for example, like our teeth kind of overlap a little bit. These things kind of have the, for example, when its jaw opens and closes, it has this scissor action, meaning its teeth don't just hit each other. Ours kind of do that in the back. They hit each other. You know what I mean? Like they ding ding. Like usually they kind of overlap a tiny bit. These things kind of do it like that. Like even their back teeth do that. So they're basically meant to kind of scissor through meat, kind of bone, that kind of thing. Everything about the lion, pretty much, as far as I've seen, it seems like it's all meant to kill. It's crazy though, like including its hands and stuff like that, but we won't go over that. We're just going to go over its head. One thing to notice here is the canines. See right here? Canines kind of cross over. See how they scissor? See how they kind of like overlap like that? I wouldn't call it scissoring action, but they overlap. And then right here at the front, they kind of meet. Those do meet flat. But just kind of keep that in mind, because that does affect things on the head when you draw it even. So, anyways, let's kind of get into it. If you're thinking in profile, I'd love to think of a lion's head more as a few boxes stacked next to each other. So, I would think of like a box like yay big, and that would be the kind of the back part of the kind of head. And this would be kind of the muzzle. No particular size really. The proportions can vary, but just vaguely around, maybe more than half the size of that. And then I would connect it, and that'd be that nasal area, that kind of from the forehead down to the kind of the front where the nose is going to begin. I would say the nose is going to begin about here. So I'll place the eye roughly about here. If I was to chop this in half, I would get where the ear is going to be. The ears tend to be round on larger cats. On big cats, they tend to be round ears. I don't know why. They used to classify them as that. Like you could see them from far away. Again, these are all general rules. Smaller cats tend to have pointier ears. If you look at the lynx, if you look at, smaller jaguars, stuff like that. I'm not really. But again, generally, big cats have round type ears, kind of like bears or something. I know there's a reason for that, and I forgot what the reason was. There is a reason for that. But this is the general idea from profile. So if you were to take that and go into the actual kind of 3/4 view, which is what I'm going to do right now. Think of that box going back a little bit, and then we're thinking of a box in front of that coming forward. Lion heads tend to kind of like aim downward a little bit. I'm not sure why. Again, they tend to be drawn that way. They tend to do that too. They tend to look down. Well, not really actually. They tend to be drawn that way. It looks nicer. Actually, it really would be more like this. Anywho, when you place it like so, you think of the center line of the head, and you're thinking of that center ridge carrying through, almost like a bridge there. looking at this bridge, if you were to simplify it down to like polygon shape, like we do with like the regular nose, you would take that and then be this round portion of it as it's going down into the nose area. You know what I mean? That's if you look at it like the eyes over here. That's if you're looking at it. Can you see that? Yeah. That's if you're looking at it as purely polygon. You know what I mean? Very, simplified look. It would be very much like this. So when you apply it, it would be different. You would actually kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see that. Yeah, if you were to apply it, it'd be a little bit different. You'd have this round shape. See? That would kind of seep into that kind of straight shape. Below that, you have the triangle of the nose, like I talked about there. And now let's take the nose and kind of look into that as on its own. The nose I treat like a simplified upside down triangle. When you're really drawing it though, it tends to be pushed in on all sides. So just slightly, I see it on a lot of them. Just slightly pushed in, a little bit of an extra corner here. So there's pushing in on all of that. When it's on the actual animal, it tends to be. It's not just a triangle. Also, there's a split down the middle. Some of them don't go all the way up. A lot of them don't go all the way up, actually. But I didn't draw all the way up. I think it looks nicer. And the nostrils are down here toward the bottom. And they're just triangles. So, when I'm drawing this, I take this and I carry it over there. I'm thinking of that slight push, and the push seems to be more design-wise. I don't really see it like that. I see it more like the lines that are doing that, like the patterns on it. So this slight push down there when you put the nose in. I'm pulling down toward the center, and the outer portions are very square. That's why we have that square there. The outer part of the muzzle. So, sorry about that, camera cut out. So, the edges of this muzzle are square. That's why we keep it in that shape. Going up to the eye area, kind of around here. The eyes have an axis that is angular. It is angled downward. And I see this on a lot of big cats. I don't know if it's on every big cat, but it seems like it could be. They tend to have a dark, almost like eyeliner as well. That's so that the sun won't reflect into their eyes. It won't bounce off, because light bounces off everything. And to kind of keep the light out of their eyes, they've kind of evolved this dark band around it. The cheekbones are extremely high. Like really high. Almost you can see their bones sometimes pop out. I've seen a lot of artists put their bone really next to it. It gives them the kind of longer face as well. So let's go back to the lower portion of the mouth. You have the lower jaw, and that's just essentially another self-explanatory. It looks like a little bowl or something, and that tends to be furry. I see artists do that. You get that, like I said, cheekbones. Go up here. They kind of have a brow. They definitely have, because they're in the desert a lot. They also use that for the sun, kind of protect their eye. You have a little bit of a brow. And goes up into the forehead. I'm going to actually pull that up a little bit. So that means the ears are going to have to go up. The ears are going to be at the side of the head here. Almost have like that Mickey Mouse look. The ears are bigger than you think. And it looks goofy. Looks really goofy. We're still technically in the under sketch portion of it right now. And then I'm going to find where the fur attached to the face, the mane, is what we're going to find. And I'm going to have that go along the ridge. It tends to go below the cheekbone. Attached to the face, making the face look longer than it actually is. Like if you look at male lions, look at photos of them, it tends to look really long, their face. I think it's mostly because, I guess the female lions kind of have a long face as well, but they really look like that with the mane, because of that fur kind of cuts into their, like I said, doesn't really show their jaw. Their back jaw doesn't show their masseter. For the actual shape of the mane, I've seen all kinds of stuff. I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it this 5-sided thing. You know what I mean? Almost like a crystal, like a base, like a baseball base. You got this 1, 2, 3, I guess 4, 5. I guess you can kind of make a 6-sided one. And I keep it in that range. And you can add whatever kind of fur that you want. You know what I mean? The fur can be, I've seen very good sketches of them do it kind of messy, like so, or you can actually like keep it a large shape. For example, I'm gonna draw this real dark, and then start cutting stuff out of it. You know what I mean? Start manipulating it that way. What you should do is you should always keep that shape first. So, for example, that's our undersketch. We're going to grab that. Now we're going to put that underneath our paper. There's more that goes into this, I noticed, than the crocodile or the horse. I think it's because, I'm not really sure why. They just, to me, they have a more complicated style face. I think they might show more of a range of emotion than a horse or a crocodile. Crocodiles don't really, like I said, have lips or anything. So let's kind of go into this. I'm going to go over here, go into the eye. Try to get that shape down. Give that little bit of eyeliner. Maybe drawing a little bit of an eyelid under that, just a slight bit of an eyelid. Going over here, finding its cheekbone, which I said is really high. Going to this side, find that far side eye. Going over here, finding this kind of, it's almost like a bump above their nose, like I said, that rounded portion. Their nose almost goes down because their oxygen's kind of released from the front a little bit. It almost goes down. It's almost like their nose isn't where you'd think it would be. It's more like downward. You know, like I would think the nose would be like right here, but in reality it's like lower. I'm drawing that wide first, and then I'm cutting into that. Because I know that it has that darkness to it, the dark shape. Take into account that pushing in shape. Splitting it down the middle. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, let me zoom in. Downward. Even though this is, again, kind of just like it's got this like funny little expression, but got this peaks downward here. See those little peaks down. And like the sides of these are mostly flat, like I talked about before, because of that box shape. Right here, I'm going to give it a little bit of fur down here. I just see that a lot. It's an observation. I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm going to go over here to the ridge of this side. It's not going to be such a hard line because it's changing form, but it's not at an angle like this is. This is changing at a really hard, where we can draw a line, where it would be the edge. Let me actually, before I go further, And get the other cheekbone on the other side. A good practice would be to go to the zoo and see these guys in real life. It's pretty awesome if they're awake. Even when they're asleep, you can kinda, I don't know, if they're asleep right in front of you, that can be pretty good. But it's debatable, you know. You could go there for the lion and it'll be, you know, because they sleep like what, 18 hours a day or something insane like that. You can see the variations of them too. You know what I mean? When I say like these are general rules, these are just principles, right? Meaning these are generalities, but there's different proportions on different lions. Obviously, like everything, different various little odd proportions. I don't like that right there. Let me find an eraser. I'm gonna get rid of that extra line up there. It's confusing me. And I'm going to continue to kind of follow this ridge lightly. This is kind of where I'm going to end it before I hit the fur area. So this area is where the fur is feeding the fur onto its face, where normally it'd have like a jaw back here. I'm not going to put that because this is the male lion with the mane. Pulling up here, some fur before you hit the ear. I'm going to shrink the ear a tiny bit. And the ear, there's no rules on the ear except for that round portion of it. And it kind of reminds me of like a donut in a way. Like a furry donut or something, I'm not really sure. Going over here, it kind of has that Vegeta widow's peak, but not all of them. Just a little bit of one. Over here on this side, again, it hits fur before it actually hits the ear itself. Think of that like a donut again. Not connecting the entire thing. And then I'm taking into account those 5 edges that I was talking about. And I'm trying to make these random. I always think of hair, like I said, as one solid form, and then I break it down. And there's many different styles, like I said, to this especially, right? Because it's hair, it's malleable, so they're kind of all over the place sometimes. Sometimes it looks like a crown or something, like, you know what I'm saying? It looks like a star, but I kind of like this just to kind of establish a shape. I don't like just purely round. I think it looks, you know, cartoony. It's just not my thing. Like I said, I'm just trying to pull random lines right now, and I'm also trying to pull them out of where they're connected to the head. I'm trying to even this out. I might pull that out a little bit to here, and that will make it look a little bit more just normal. It'll even it. I thought that was just too close. So I'm thinking of that line. I'm trying to make all of these shapes kind of adhere to that line in a way, or at least near it. Anyways, that's about it. Like I said, this is a little bit more complicated than the crocodile and or the horse. For example, these guys, difference between these guys and a horse is these make expression, you know, they'll, like, you can, it kind of opens in an angry way, and I can do that as well. If you want a video on that, on it roaring, I can do that. That could be the next video. But let me know if you do want that. That's pretty much it. Hope everything was good. If you have any questions below, post them below. I want to really answer it. Also, I'm going to throw one last thing in here. I'm going to throw a little bit of an eye, like I said. I did it on this side, but I didn't do that side. Kind of like almost like an eyelid in a way. You can actually do it up here as well. This kind of ridge comes to the top of the eye. Anyways, this video's been long enough. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon.